Hey everybody, we back again.
We back.
I'm Spencer, and of course we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Dr. Nas.
There you go. And this is the Different Spectrums podcast, where we talk about movies, shows, and the mental health aspects that surround them. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. Now, before we get to our guest, go check out Cure Hydration, Pinfinity, Bub's Naturals, Silver Dollar Candle, Two Nerds Candle Company, and Cat and Raven Company. It's a mouthful, but we made it easy for you so you can go on to our link tree and see all of the deals that you can get by using our code DSP20 or DSP with all of these great brands that we are collaborating with. So please go check them out and go check out our merch. We have some lovely things here. Be different. Do it different.
Dot.
Yeah. Dot.
Period.
Some people call it a period, but we call it a dot here. That's right.
Different dot.
That's no dot. All right. So today we have a special guest. She is a trauma-sensitive career counselor. Please welcome Christine Walker to the show.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
Hello,
yes,
human.
We are. Yes. Humans. We finally have them on the show. Hello.
My precious.
Are we aliens or are we the Beatles? We don't know. That's for you to decide.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show,
My
Christine.
pleasure.
Oh my God. All right. So with that, today we are taking a look at the show The Bear. We're going to be taking a look at a few different topics, one being mentorship, panic, PTSD, and then also relief, and a bunch of other topics that we can cover in the show. So with that, Nas, anything before we get into the show?
Like Spencer said, there's a lot of different stuff. For those of you that have seen the show, you know it's fabulous. It's really high on every rating. If you like tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes, it's good on Rotten Tomatoes. It's good on every rating that there is. It's a fabulous show. For those of you that have stimuli issues, turn it down a little bit. A lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, a lot of arguments. So you might need to turn the decibels down when you're watching the show. Highly recommend it. The story arcs of every single individual in the show. It's quite beautiful. So join us today. We're going to talk a lot about Rich is one of the main story arcs, and then we're going to touch a little bit on Carmie as well. So the two of the main stars of the show. So let's buckle up. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's therapize. Therapizing on a Sunday. Yeah. Okay. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh shit!
She did it.
She did it. She read the script.
She's trauma focused. Trauma centered.
I'm here for it.
She's here for it. She's like, I get these people. See, her social skills are good. Everyone else.
Yep. Yeah. Not so much.
Oh my God. All right, let's do it.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our show today. We just wanted to take some time to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Cat and Raven Design. They are a small queer-owned business that specializes in LGBTQ plus pride soaps. They have great designs, some that even look good to eat, but don't. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code DSP or go to our link tree. Help support this great small business and help give back to a great community.
You know where the polish is? The bullshit keeps moving.
Try that drawer over there.
What are you making?
I'm just peeling mushrooms for the lamb de tornade.
Peeling mushrooms.
Yeah, it's just a nice little fun detail, so when the diners see it, they know that someone spent a lot of time on their dish. Do you want to have a go?
Right?
Okay, so hold it like this. Knife 1300. Grab the end and just peel, like that. Just go slowly. Yeah.
1300, huh?
Yeah,
Do you serve?
Dad did.
Yeah, same. Staff sergeant.
Corporal.
A lot of standards.
Yeah. Turns out I like standards.
Did you move around a lot?
Yeah. You? I know Carmen.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry that he pulled a favor.
Not at all. I don't do favors.
How's that?
That's great.
Can I do another one?
Yes, please do.
So why do you do this?
I do it for a living.
No, but like, don't you have stodges that do this shit?
Yeah, well, I like starting the day with this.
Why?
Respect. Feels attached. I think time spent doing this is time well spent.
Time well spent? That's what it's all about?
Yeah, I think so.
When did that start?
Oh, I tried to open a giant place years ago. I had all these accolades. I was younger. I was on fire. I was arrogant. And I tried to move too fast, couldn't keep the place open, and the market crashed, and I got killed.
Public wipeout?
Oh, yeah, the most public wipeout.
So how'd this place happen?
Oh, no, that was on my 38th birthday. I was out walking all night, unemployed, angry, depressed, blaming everybody else for all the time I'd lost and the money I'd lost, all of it. And it was raining, and I was walking through Lincoln Park. My phone had died, and so I stood under this awning waiting for the rain to stop. And I just stood there and stared, and eventually the sun came up, and it turns out I was right there. And then I walked round to the front, and I saw the sign. It was an actual sign. It was a restaurant for lease sign.
Like, never too late kind of thing.
Yeah, never too late to start over.
How'd you get the money to open?
Well, my dad had died the summer before, an only child. My mum sold the house and put it in here.
Oh, family business.
Yeah.
You close with your ma?
Yeah, she's my best friend. You?
My best friend's ma was like my mom.
Yeah.
What about your dad?
Close to yours. Yeah, it's funny. I learnt the most about him when I was packing up his house. All his belongings, like his whole life. And I found this stash of pocket notebooks that he must have taken with him when he was on tour. And full of all these details, like the palm trees he'd seen, or escargot he'd tried, or this time the ocean looked purple. And the way he wrote everything, it was like a reminder, like, don't forget this moment, or don't forget this interesting, strange detail. Hundreds of these entries.
Chef Terry?
And he'd sign each one off the same way every time.
Chef?
Yes, Chef.
Arno upstairs.
Oh, thank you, Chef.
Don't be a stranger, Richie.
Say hi to Carmen for me.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you. He believes in you, you know.
What makes you say that?
He told me. He said you're good with people. He's not wrong.
Oh, nice talking to you, Chef.
Likewise, Chef.
You know, Chef, you never said what he signed off with. What's your dad?
run expo for you.
I got 2 stations, Chef.
Yeah, right.
What's fucking going on? I can do it. What's going on out
there? Yeah.
You guys good?
All right.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, chefs, listen up. Let's look alive, yeah? I'm gonna plug everybody in, all right? Let's hustle. Let's listen to the sound of my voice and the sound of Richie's. We're gonna do this, yeah?
Yes,
chef. Great.
Fuck this. I think I gotta turn
I
this
think you're right, yeah. Good?
Yeah, great.
Hey, we got 5 minutes to do this thing or we're fucked.
All right.
Okay.
5 minutes. I got you, Chef.
Great. T, I want you to help me set plates, please.
Yes, chef.
Thank you. Okay, Richie. Drive.
Okay, guys, we're gonna refire 4 focaccia, okay? We're gonna walk that first. All right. Hands, we gotta pick up some fishes, 4x4, pick up bucatini, 4x4x4. Pick up T-bone, 2x2. That's going to table 21. Bucatini, table 15. Focaccia, please, to table 15. Need some more hands here, guys. What we got? We got a focaccia that's to table 20. Thank you very much. And we need one more walking bucatini to 30.
Jeff, we got open.
I got stabbed. Not right now.
Hey, we're lagging on these 7 fishes. Marcus, can you please help Connor out?
Yes, Chef.
And T, you're good on T-bone?
Yes, chef.
Daniela, how's pasta?
Good, chef.
Thank you.
Where's Carmie?
Stuck in the wall.
Walking. Call Tim.
Hey, not now. Please. Can you help me wipe dishes? Yes, chef. Thank you, chef.
Carm, you okay?
Okay, Marcus, don't forget, you got cannolis 4x2x2.
Morning, Chef.
Where am I?
You're out front.
You nuts? It's so scary out there.
No, you're nice. So just be nice. You know, pour water, pour wine, read minds, just check in.
I can't do this myself.
I can't do this, but, you know, new world order, pal.
I'm scared.
You know? Jeff, can I get caviar bowls to the line, please?
Don't be scared. Chef. Jesus.
Okay, guys. 5 cannoli all day. All right. We got 8 bucatini. Oh, no, fuck, sorry. 9 bucatini all day. You got that? Okay. Hands, please. Table 14. Go. Table 12. Go. We're going to walk table 21. Thank you very much. Sydney, what's the circle mean?
My dad.
Okay, pick up lettuces for 6, please.
Chef.
Marcus, we're gonna 86 the mostarda. Manuel doesn't do cherries, Chef. Thank you.
Chef.
What's up, Chef? Okay, guys, listen up. We got 48 menus down, so we are full board, okay? We need to fucking drill, guys. Who's ready to fucking party right now? Yeah. Okay, listen up. Listen to the numbers. Don't call back. Just fucking go. We're all gonna be smoking cigarettes soon. All right, walking 15, walking 20, walking 32. Come on, guys, come on. Fire donuts, 5x5x4. Fire fishes, 4x4x4. Okay, we're walking 21 caviar. That's 5x4x2. Fire T-bone, 2x4x5. Got the T?
Got it working, chef.
Yo, Sid, we got to hold a fish. We got a shellfish allergy. I don't know how you guys sell that.
Yeah, Connor, let's sub amberjack, please.
Food check. 7, just keep going, guys. We are almost out of the woods. Let's just keep fucking going. I love you fucking guys. Here we go.
terrible at this. You're no good at it. Go faster, motherfucker. Keep going faster. Why are you so slow? Why are you so fucking slow? You handle this as a teenager. You are not tough. You are bullshit. You are talentless. You should be dead.
Fire suppression. Suppression seems to be working. I will now check the gas line. 10, 9.
He's learning.
I'm grateful for all your love, friend.
6.
Such a cute.
5. 4. 3. 2. Says here the Chief Operating Officer is Natalie Berzato.
Correct. I am Natalie Berzato.
Congrats, Natalie Berzato. You have a restaurant.
You're honestly the best. You gotta come in. You gotta come in.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too. So go check them out. And we back again.
We back and we're live. As live as my taste buds after watching this goddamn show. God damn, that food look good.
It's facts.
And there's that
That's
one
facts.
steak, then they're just shaving it, and there's bones and there's marrow, and,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
cannolis. They're little tiny cannolis, and they got
I know.
green stuff on it. I don't even know what the green stuff is, but I like it.
Like, my problem is that like these are like they're trying to be 3-star restaurant, right? And it's just, I already know that's expensive. Like, I can't even book a table because I'm that broke. Like, I can't do it.
Can't even
I
book a
can't.
table.
Nope. Can't even book. Can't even
window
sit.
shopping.
Yeah. They're like, no, just
Window
go.
shopping. I licked my screen like 3 times. All I tasted was fingers. Like,
All
this food
right,
tastes like Cheeto dust.
So, before we get into what the show is and the clips, Christine, please tell us a little bit more about you and what brought you to our show.
Hi, well, thanks. So I met Nas, I believe. I was on Threads. So I believe I met you on Threads. We had some fun joking around. So he invited me to be on the show. What do? I am I call myself a trauma sensitive career counselor. I think the official term that's commonly used is trauma informed. I like to use trauma sensitive a little bit. I like that sound better.
Yeah.
So that's what I use. It's kind of a newish field. There are usually career counselors and there are trauma therapists. I kind of bring those two things together because we all bring our trauma with us to work, and it shows up in some unique ways. And sometimes you need some specific help in that regard. And so that is what I do. This is a second career for me, or maybe a third, depending on how you look at it. I started as a high school teacher. That was my first career.
Nice.
Yep. So loved that. But I taught in the arts. And so it was rehearsals till midnight every night. Once I had children, that was a lot less practical. And so I needed to find something new to do. So I went and started working in the career center, the college and career center at the high school. And then found out that my peers really needed a lot of support too, even in midlife. So I moved out into the private sector. Went back to school, got my degree in clinical mental health counseling, certified in trauma, and here we are.
So, how would you say, did you ever have any trouble kind of in your own career when it comes to kind of focus and everything like that? Or did it kind of come easy to you and then you could really be like, hey, let me translate this to other people?
That's a really great question. No, it was always really, really hard for me. That is why I do what I do. My dad came downstairs when I was 17 and a senior, and I was pretty hysterical because I didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
Right.
And then I kind of found my way into the arts because that was sort of meaningful and fulfilling for me. That's where I found a home as a teenager. So I kind of wanted to go back and do that. And when I had to choose again, I got lost all over again. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. It took me a long time and I needed a lot more help and support than I got. And so that's what I try to do for people now, is give them the process and the steps to help them kind of figure out what they want to do, what's going to be a good fit for them at this stage in their life.
That's great. Yeah. Do you think that, how have you kind of grown into this role since kind of starting out? Like, were you kind of nervous at first, or did you kind of just naturally blend into it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think anytime we start something new, there's some nerves, right? Because it's uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar, you are new. So I was definitely nervous. And then I found, that the people I tend to resonate best with are actually pretty intense personalities, really burned out overachievers, very intense personalities, right? Which I tend to vibe with that personality type really well. And helping to kind of bring that overachieving just back into high achieving, where we're still being successful, but we're able to balance it a little bit better. Sometimes that means a new job. Sometimes it means a new career. Sometimes it just means a new approach and a few new skills to help kind of maintain some boundaries. And that's kind of how I've evolved. I started with just the career exploration part, figuring out what you want to do, making the changes. But I've added in the trauma, I've added in some skills so that change, might not be necessary. Maybe we just need to give a few more skills and you can make this what you have already work.
Right. So going to the show, which character would you more want to work with? I'm assuming Sydney, but I could be wrong.
Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Sydney. You know what? I really like all of these characters. I like Richie, even Natalie, right? Natalie is someone who definitely would show up in my office. So Carmie really knows what he wants to do. So he's probably not showing up in my office unless he's just really burnt out and needs, a little bit of help. But Sydney, Richie, Natalie, all three of those I'm probably seeing in my office.
What's the big guy's name? What's the big guy that does the sweets?
Marcus? Is that Marcus?
Yep. Marcus.
Yes.
I like him.
I do too.
Yeah. I like him. I think I identify more as him because it's not about figuring out what he wants to do. He's just taking everything in. He's a sponge. And he's listening to everyone and no pushback. There's nothing. He's just going with it. Whatever you preach, he's going with it. And so that's how I was my entire life. I'm just soaking it in, all of it. And then I figure out what's good and then I make it my own. So he was making those pastries his own at the end there, his own flavor.
Oh, yeah. I would also say that you identify as Marcus as well, because he's also a caretaker, taking care of his mom, while she's sick and stuff like that. So I really kind of see that with, big boy too. Yeah. Big boy of color.
Kind of shy and awkward around the girls, right? I'm like, is this me? I'm assuming.
This is me. You're like, I'm gonna go to another country and learn about pastries. Here we go.
I would literally die happy. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
Career change.
Didn't you love watching that?
Yes.
That was great. Yeah.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
love the guy who plays his mentor. He's great too. Love him.
Mhm.
Yep.
Great in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 too.
Yep.
So
I
been
also
good.
like how he helped that old guy that fell off that bike.
yeah.
He's like, God
yeah.
bless you, man. Thank you for helping me out. And he's like, are you good?
Yeah. Couldn't speak a lick of English. And then he's just gave him a big old hug while he's riding off with a concussion, probably.
Yeah.
So he's just like,
Yeah.
Europeans.
That's my guy.
We ride bikes.
What about you, Spence? Who do you like? Who do you relate to on that one? Or who would you like to work with? I don't know. You know what I'm asking.
Yeah. In some ways I would probably say Richie in some aspects. I don't think I have the same drive as Carmie. I wish I could have that same drive as him, because he's just pushing it. And then he's also not just that, but then he's also helping so many people realize their potential. Even though he doesn't have to, he could be just like the chef that he used to work for and just like, talk to them downward and be a piece of shit. But no, he's helping them actually move up. He gave his knife to Tina. Yep. Gave his knife to her. And she like loved him after that. Like she loved him before, but now she like really loves him after that because he sees the potential in people. And I like that. And he has his faults, obviously, but at the same time, he's doing a lot for other people, which I love. But yeah, I'd probably say like between like Richie and Carmie. Definitely.
I can see you talking a lot of trash and shit, having a good time with Rich. Yeah,
but that's the thing though. It's like, we'll get into that a little bit more, but I also think that with him, sometimes he talks a little bit too much. And instead of like putting the time in to work, unlike he did at the end of the second season, where he realized I gotta stop being that guy who talks too much. So for me, I like don't get me wrong, I like to talk, but at the same time, when I gotta get my work done, I gotta get it done. Because I'm not trying to fall behind or look like I'm not a worker at all. So
yeah, because he looks incompetent most of the time.
He does. Totally. So all right.
Quick question though for Christina. So did you do your master's while having kids?
Yeah.
How many kids did you have at the time?
4.
All 4 of them while you did the master's.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how women do this shit, bro. Women.
It was crazy. This is my family heritage, though. When I was 9, my dad went back to medical school. I had 3 little sisters. And then when he graduated, I was 13. We moved to do his residency. My mom went back and got her PhD. We all finished the same year. I graduated high school. My mom got her PhD. My dad finished his medical residency same year. So this is what my family does.
Your husband got a good degree or no? He ain't got no. He got.
Yeah, he's got a good degree. Yeah.
I'm about to say he ain't got no good degree. Yeah. You're single now. I'll be a good stepdad.
Gotta have a master's by our second kid comes out.
Yeah, I know, the whole family. Jesus, the whole family's just smart. That is awesome.
Yeah, that is.
Awesome. I'm sure there's a lot of anxiety and some small traumas in there as well, because that's a lot of stuff.
Tons, yes.
You can't give love to everyone while you're doing that. I mean, there's neglect that's going to happen. Pressure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yep. But I figured I wanted to ask, because a lot of my homegirls, for those of you who don't know what that word means, a lot of my friends that are women, in my master's program, in my doctorate program, are mothers. I'm just like, how? Like I'm and working. School, working, and a kid. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that's awesome and you're awesome. Yeah, just want to say that.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the bear. All right.
Let's do it.
Should have had a bear instead of Grouch.
Oscar.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
That's an Ewok. All right, whatever. You know what? Take what you can get.
Oh, is it an Ewok?
Yeah, it's an Ewok.
It looked like a bear. I wouldn't have known.
All right. So the first season of the show completely different than the second season, in my opinion. And so the first season is all about Carmie, whose brother commits suicide and leaves him this restaurant, right? And so it's kind of like this rundown sandwich shop, essentially. And then so Carmie takes over, and now he's bringing in his expertise from, 3-star restaurants, high end, bringing in a whole new level of thinking when it comes to a restaurant. And so we have him, and then we have a bunch of other characters that are in the show, and we get to learn a lot more about them as the show progresses, right? And so the first season ends with them finding all of this money that's in this tomato sauce that his brother left. It was like $300,000, something like that. And then that's where it kind of concludes. And then the second season is all about them revamping the restaurant that his brother left, and they're going through all of these different challenges because the building was not up to code at all. And then they have new menus, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do, while also having all of these other restaurants fail around them. And so I think this is a great show that really shows not only the pressure of being a restaurant owner, but just the pressure of owning like a business overall, because it's tough. It's tough out there. Right. And then as we see in the second season, we see a lot of people elevating themselves to a whole other level. Right.
All glow ups.
Just all glow ups. And so they go from being like this little, sandwich shop in Chicago to now being like this, trying to be a 3-star restaurant, being like excellence in their neighborhood. So great show. There's so many things we could talk about in this show, right? We could talk about Carmie and his family alone for like hours.
Every character. Every character.
Yes.
Literally.
The writing is so good and the acting is so good, because we could literally pick any scene, any person, and have a whole conversation about it.
Real quick. So when the writer's strike was starting, a lot of people were using this show as one of the big, things of propaganda, because a lot of the writers that made this, they get paid like 10 grand, Spence. That's all they got. Like 20, and someone was like 20 grand, and that was it.
That's so
criminal.
sad.
Yeah.
Criminal, which is wild to think about. That's all they got. I mean, that's below like poverty line for everywhere. 20 grand.
Yeah.
So that's why people were saying it's so wrong. It's such a good show, and yet the people that made the writing didn't get paid.
Yes.
I mean, even just as subtle as, when he was in there, in that scene where he's talking to the mentor, right? They're peeling the mushrooms, and the woman comes in to get her and interrupts her. Just like little scenes, like little details like that, where it feels realistic, because they could have waited, right? They could have waited until the conversation was finished and then brought her in. That would have been easier, but it wouldn't have felt as realistic. So just even those subtle nuances, good. So good.
Yeah. And shout out to everyone who is actually striking for this, because you should get paid so much more than what you're being paid. So hopefully they get paid an actual living wage, and, these companies kind of wake up and be like, okay, yeah, these writers are important. We need to keep them. So I hope the strike does not hurt this show at all, but
me too.
Yep.
It might. So
okay.
First scene that we watched, it's all about like the scene that Christine was just talking about, right? So Richie is a friend of Carmie and his brother, growing like a childhood friend. And throughout the show, he's just a fuck up. He's just a fuck up. There's no other way to put it. He's just like that. And the thing about him is that he has so much potential, and great thing about Carmie is that he sees it. And so he takes Richie and he puts him in this very fancy restaurant where he's actually getting to learn how to be a host. So he starts from the bottom of just waxing or cleaning forks. That's where he starts. And then he starts billing himself up to being like the host or maitre d', and Richie starts really learning each part of the restaurant and kind of correlates it to himself. And throughout the whole season, he's feeling very depressed, right? He's feeling depressed because he doesn't feel like he has a purpose. He has anything to really kind of live for. And so now we see him finding that purpose. And the episode ends with Richie peeling mushrooms with the owner of the restaurant, asking her questions, being a people person, like we've all seen they can be. And so, and then it ends with, of course, the sign that every second counts, right? No matter what. And so I think this really speaks to his character, because a lot of the time he's wasting his time just talking shit or just not putting all of the effort that he could be into the restaurant.
He's always just so resistant about everything.
Yes.
Takes everything so personal.
Yep. And instead of being a team, he's kind of makes it an individual kind of deal. So it's just himself.
Yeah.
And so now I would say for Christine, how do you take somebody like Richie and kind of mold it into what he is now, kind of being a lot more concise about his time, and also making sure to know the littlest of details? What do you kind of bring that with when you're speaking to one of your...
Hey, are you a nerd? Do you like pins? If you're like any of our followers and you said yes, you should check out our collaboration with Pinfinity. They have Power Rangers pins, Transformers pins, and for all of our bronies out there, My Little Pony pins. Go check out our Linktree or use our code DSP to get 20% off your Pinfinity order today.
Clients.
Yeah. Well, it's a good question. When I look at Richie, I want to look back even further. Like, where did he come from? We talked about the traumas that must have experienced with my family, right? And, we get little clues from Richie. We hear, like, he's talking to the owner of the restaurant who says she moved around a lot. He's like, I did too. Right. So we only have little clues. We don't know his history, but like, is he a military family? Was he in foster care? What was it that was making him move around? Right. And that probably informs a lot of how he perceives himself. Right. And kind of his self-identity and what makes him afraid to try, what makes him, he's kind of got this lens that he sees himself through, which is, I'm bad news. I never succeed. I never do anything well. Why should I try? If I try too hard, it's just going to blow up in my face. Right. So, and then he's using his confirmation bias to kind of prove to himself that he's inadequate, that he's not good enough. So if I'm working with him, that's where we're starting. Right, is on that confirmation bias and on that lens that we're seeing him through, right? And we're trying to put on a little bit of a different lens. We're trying to find a way to see things a little bit differently.
Okay. And do you kind of see anything when it comes to being people being in their own way? Do you see that a lot in your field?
Oh, yeah. Kind of like sabotaging. And usually, I like to call it kind of like an immunity to change, right? We have different needs. We have different values that compete against each other, right? So we have a part of us that wants to grow, and we have a part of us that wants to stay safe, and they're fighting. They're competing. And, it depends on your personality, which one wins out, but often it's going to be the safe one. Right. And so then we're looking at, how do we meet those needs in a way that still allows you to move forward? How do we meet your safety needs in a way that allows you to move forward? How do we build your tolerance for taking a little bit of risk? Because the confidence doesn't come before the action, right? Nobody gains confidence that they can ride a bike until they've fallen 150 times and they can now actually ride the bike. That's when the confidence comes, right? So we kind of have to be willing to move through that to gain the confidence. And so I think it was a brilliant move on Carmie's part to send him to that restaurant where he's just doing the basics, right? Like, okay, you're in an uncomfortable place where like socioeconomic status, like this probably was not how he grew up at all, right? This is a totally different world, but we're giving you basic tasks where you can be very successful and you can develop confidence and you can start to see your own strengths kind of shine through.
Totally. Yeah.
Preach.
And then I'll also say, I love the part where he starts wearing the suit and then he's like, I wear this because this is like armor for me. Like nothing can hurt me now. Like I feel like I can be at the top of my game. I'm not just wearing like t-shirts and things like that. I'm actually, you know, I feel like I'm at the status where I want to be. Dressed
kind of like, yeah, like that fake it till you make it, dress to impress. But then, you know what I really love is when he takes the jacket off and rolls up his sleeves to like do that hard thing. And I'm like, and that's where he's embodying it. Now he's not faking it anymore. Now he's like, I don't need the jacket and I'm still capable.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Like now it's me. Now I'm not faking it, but now it's really me.
Yeah. Love
She's good, Spence.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's just like, yeah. I've never seen him this speechless before. This is it's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Before I knew she was good before. We've had some very, very intelligent humans in many different ways, but based on the conversations that me and you have had, and then what I've seen on your Instagram, you would be the only person out of all the people we don't talk to that I would have as my therapist. Only person.
Thank you.
There's multiple different things.
Actually a huge compliment.
I'm so flattered. Thank you.
Only person. There's something about you that I trust, and I can go into it, but it would be a lot of different variables that people wouldn't understand. But I knew they're highly intelligent, and the way you're articulating every single little thing, and then you're going backwards in time as well. Trauma informed, trauma sensitive, right? So you're taking the whole biopsychosocial and applying it, and you're seeing the change, which means you've also visualized and identified a change. So the way you view things is just like me. It's all these little micro tiny things. You're not just listening to someone talk. You're like literally embodying it and feeling it and empathizing with it. Thus, you're able to articulate yourself better than the other therapist. Something to think about. You have skills, not from just our guests, but from people I know, coworkers, friends, certain skills that you have that others may not have. Will put you ahead of others, which I already knew going in, and then now it's just confirmed. I was already going to tell you that I would have picked you as a therapist, but now I really know. I'm like straight up fangirl.
Now I really know.
Now I know. She got the sauce.
She got the sauce. She got that spice, you know, a little bit of spice.
It's a spicy meatball. Well, I don't reference food like 3 times. The 4 times food reference thing doesn't count for this pod. Because
this is a food show. So this because we have a thing on this pod where if Nas talks about 4 food things, it's pretty much the end of the show. So on the 4th, we already know the show's over.
We're already on 2.
This is like 12
count.
already.
So, Rick, you've already hit all the points. This scene, the first scene, is because I'm gonna get into the scene and tie into some autism, is a wonderful representation, literally, metaphorically, about how people can evolve. How just because you were one version in childhood, adolescence, right, middle adulthood, right, and then as you get older, you can change. It's never too late to change.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need someone to push you. Sometimes you might need someone to yell at you. But at the end of the day, what you need is someone to believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
So that entire team of people believed in him and was like, hey, man, you need to get your shit together and clean these damn spoons. And then I'm going to promote you and we're going to go. And then Carmie, I'm sorry he put you here. You asked for a favor. I don't do favors.
Mm-hmm.
It was a blessing to have you. You're really good. Carmie believes in you, right? How you know that? He told me. And she smiles. Which means there was a wonderful conversation that happened. They just said, hey, I need him. I need you to work with him. Because sometimes when you're talking to friends or family members or therapists, you don't really take their advice. You really don't fully embody it. You don't fully trust it. Or maybe it's just hard to internalize it. But some random person on the street says something, or some secondary, tertiary friend says it, and you're like, well, damn, maybe I have changed. Maybe I'm better. Maybe that advice that my therapist has been saying for the last year actually does work. And then maybe I should start implementing it more often. I'm like, yeah, asshole. Yes. And then they always come back. Nas, you were right. I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, I'm always right.
Right.
Yes, that's true. I'm right.
That's why I get the 10%.
That's why I get my 10% of everything you earn moving forward. Sarcasm. So the mentorship with her is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But to see himself and other people acknowledge him, even if they aren't neurodivergent, even when the woman that was like, hey man, you know, come back around, or hey, it's been a blessing having you, and she's like kind of being flirty. Those are like affirmations he didn't get before. Those are affirmations that I got as well from people. There's something about the subtle way that they look at you. They see you as this weird pause. They see you as trash. For lack of a better word, they see you as trash. They'll throw you away because you're not this prototype. You're not perfect. You're not quiet. You're not highly articulate in certain things. You'll be seen as trash. Anything that's not like normal will be seen as odd and awkward, left out, right? You're not good at math or reading, or your penmanship's bad, you're ADHD and talking too much. People will devalue you almost immediately and think that you don't have the skills to make it in the world. I was talking to students yesterday, Spence, and I normally do like a mental health speech. I decided not to with all my Latinx students. And I decided to do one on what's your why. And the people always do what's your why, but I do mine very different. It's all stories. Because the way we do it with people of color, brown folks, black folks, is stories, narratives. Right? Even go back to Native Americans. There weren't no, we didn't know damn books, folks. We didn't Aztecans and all that. We didn't have no books. It was storytellers that passed down this lineage, this heritage. And so I was telling stories. I ended up choking up. I ended up crying like hard once. Students were like, Jesus. And I could see students just dropping. They were dropping with tears, with empathy. So I lead out with a meditation at the end. And I knew about 70% of them was going to cry. And they did. It was a wonderful meditation, very empowering. And you're getting people to believe in themselves. As they breathe in and they hold it, it's all this frustration and anger and all this grief that you're horrible and you'll never make it. And then you let that shit go and you breathe out. The story arc of Rich is him holding everything and stewing on it and using that as he's like the victim and all that, and then woe is me, and then projecting out all this hatred to everyone else and being so stubborn because I'm an idiot and I'm trash and I've been told I'm trash, and so I'm just going to embody being trash. And so a lot of folks that are neurodivergent will get stuck in that. Everyone, every corner of the world tells you that you are not normal unless you don't belong. Why even try? And then here he is at this bright and shiny place, and he's like the bomb. And he's learning and soaking everything up. What am I saying this for? Is you can do really anything. You just got to have a few people who believe in you and a few people willing to be patient with you. That's the key, is willing to be patient with you. I asked Christine earlier, I said, you do your master's? She said, yeah, I got 4 kids. It's like, holy shit. You don't do that unless you got a team of people like supporting you. It's improbable. Whether it's friends, family members, right? The kids stepping up themselves, your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, it's a whole ecosystem.
So it's a wonderful scene to see someone finally make it that thought they were trash, and now he's going to go home to his daughter in the next season, and she going to be happy as pigs and shit, and he can walk up to her and hold his chest out and hug her with no shame and just be happy. And then she won't even know it, but she'll be proud of him. She won't even know, but she'll just know that, oh, my dad's doing good.
Yep. Her nervous system will feel it. She'll know
everything. And then he'll feel it. So a wonderful scene. I know a lot of folks on the spectrum can relate to some of this stuff if they watch the show, the story arcs of almost all of them.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people will relate to Sid because of her high anxiety. Carmie because of his deregulation issues and panic. And then also the big guy, though, the big guy is like the most innocent. Marcus, the most innocent version of folks we see on the spectrum. They're just super kind, super empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, quiet little mouse, doing his thing, loves art. Right? I mean, that's one version. All right, that's me on the scene. Wonderful.
Yeah.
If Rich had a therapist, someone like me, he would be able to get along better with compared to Christine. But Christine would build trust over time. I would have to manipulate him with masculinity and then slowly work my way into his conscious. Christine, he's going to be real resistant. She comes in with that soft stuff and he's going to dip. But her way is my way of doing it. I just would have to play the game. So Christine would have to do it as well because he's resistant to everyone. So there's no way he's just going to sit down, Spence, and be like, oh, sure.
Right.
I'll do what you want. No.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. Would you?
No, if he's coming into my office, it's for probably practical reasons, right? Like I need a new job, I need my resume, something like that. And then over time, as the relationship builds, then we get a few little soft things in here and there, and then it evolves.
Then you crack him open. I guarantee you, what he would end up coming in is because he's probably gonna lose his kid even more, or like the rights even more, and so that's probably what would push him in to seek help. Because I would assume after that would become suicidality.
Right.
Totally. I mean, you could kind of feel that in the first couple episodes of the season, that he's kind of going to that place, especially where Carmie's brother went, you know, because he just had a friend who killed himself. So he's like, is this going to be my fate just like him?
One or two options, and he chose the better one.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
He still stubbornly chose the better one, but he still chose the better one.
Yeah, it took him a minute. Took him a minute of cleaning forks, but you know what? He got there.
So now we know. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to clean some forks.
Get up every day at 5:30 and clean some forks.
Story time.
No, that kind of thing can be really soothing.
Yeah. Hey,
true.
It could be. Could be.
I remember I applied for this job, and the director said, "You know, we do everything here. So like, you'll be making copies. Like, no one's above anyone." I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And they're like, no, we're being serious. I'm like, so do you want me to tell you my background of being poor? Like, I mean, making copies is not like a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a lot of grunt work and lawn care work and scrubbing toilets, doing janitorial work. Like, I don't care about making no copies now. It was just funny on how this lady projected. I'm like, do I give off a bougie vibe? I'm just letting you know now. I'm like, is it because I'm a dude? Like, I don't, you know.
How dare you try to make copies? You don't understand.
Yeah, she's like, we ain't got no front desk person. I'm like, okay, like it's fine.
That's fine. Click a button in this button. We're good.
I know.
Man.
It's just funny. Oh, just like the boss said, life is interesting. She was just a random moment, and then she was outside and she looked up and then she lost everything, and then she looked up and she, you know, bought that place. Just random. Yeah. Sometimes life is just so random. The other thing was cool about her is the peeling the mushrooms. She likes the micro level work, that grunt work. Yeah. To me, that's grounding and soothing. If I was ever an administrator, well, which I soon will be, you know, there still has to be something to ground me to humans than just like doing paperwork and managing adults, because that would be gross. So there's people like me that are the grunts that are in the, you know, in the field doing it work, and I don't think I'll ever not be able to not do the work.
Right.
Okay. I'm tapped out now on that one.
Okay. Fair enough. I just have a quick question for both of you. Christine, you can go first, and then Nas if he wants to. It's about belief, right? And so obviously you both of you humans. I mean, and sometimes your belief wavers with people, especially those that are making maybe improvements in their lives, not in like a timely fashion, but more about just in general, like they're not really trying at all, right? And so you know, as counselors, therapists, your belief kind of wavers a little bit. How do you kind of keep that belief with your clients that you're seeing?
That's a good question. And I think especially when clients are presenting themselves as victims or as incapable or as helpless, and they're committed to that identity, it can be hard to maintain that belief when they're highly avoidant of making progress. And for me, I think maybe the word I use more is hope. Like, I always have hope. I always have hope that things can change. I think things can always change. And even if I can't believe right now, I can always hope. Right. Yeah. And often the hope is enough to have a vision, to see where I want to go, to kind of think about the next step. And the belief comes when people start taking steps, but sometimes we have to break it way down to those micro steps, right? And just move forward with the hope that this is going to take us somewhere and that the belief will come as we keep moving. What about you, Nas?
My old boss, she taught me when she was doing EMDR with folks, what's getting in the way? What's getting in the way of you moving forward? So we would have a very direct conversation of, what's stopping you from progress? What's stopping you from doing the things that we talked about, the things that we strategized, making small little changes that, Christine just talked about. Why can't you even move forward on those? Why are we still in the same cycles? So we'll have a good, empathetic, calm, I'm not going to be pushy on that one, but we're going to talk about something's going on. And I know I'm good at my job. So the shit ain't on me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you.
It ain't my fault.
It ain't on me. I still want my check. I'm still getting paid.
Oh, that's funny.
So, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I would stutter just like that. And I said, "What are we doing, kid? Because I got you back. So even if you don't move forward, I got you back. But also, I don't want you to waste your money and your time, and you're doing shit that's hurting you. So why are we continuing to do things that hurt you? So to me, it's not about losing belief. It's about understanding why they're acting this way. Because if I can't make sense of it, then you need to tell me why you're doing it. And eventually they will. And they'll tell you what's going on and why they're being resistant. And then you progress and you move forward. And most of the time, it's a lot of shame on why they won't tell you why they're not doing any of this stuff. Shame and guilt. And so, as soon as we get past that, we can start to make some real headway. But that's what my boss would say. What is getting in the way? And then we progress.
Yeah.
There's hope and belief. And sometimes it's just planting seeds with people, right? I've had a lot of people that make progress, 50 steps back, make progress, 50 steps back. It is what it is. I got a lot of folks I deal with that won't take medication, Spence. Many of them folks are my neurodivergent clients. I'm like, we can work on all this stuff that you want, but at the end of the day, your nervous system is overstimulated, and we need something, to put a damper on it, a roadblock on it, a dam on it. We got to do something to take the edge off. We've done a lot of therapy now, and you still having these night terrors. I can't go into your brain at night and fix that. You're obsessing about something, you can't even focus, and you're getting lost in your own thoughts and dissociating. I can help you with some techniques, but if you don't do the techniques, well, maybe you can't do the techniques because you're too overstimulated. You need the medicine. I'll have students that take off on me, and then eventually they'll come back and they said, I should have took the medicine. I know. Again, I'm good at my job. So they say, how many therapists does it take to change a light bulb, Christine?
How many?
One. But the light bulb has to want to change.
Damn. It's deep, bro. It's
I'm
deep.
telling you, the light bulb has to want to change, man. I love my grinders that come into therapy, Spencer. Like, we're doing it. Yeah. Sometimes they're too eager, and they're taking in too much. And I'm like, calm down now, man. You ain't gonna get all this shit done in a month. Like, I got some very anxious, high functioning folks that are what are they? Not high functioning. You said it about your parents, or maybe it was the kids. High achieving. That's the people you have friendships with.
The,
Yeah.
The overachievers.
Like, I'm going to win this therapy thing.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
It's nothing to win here.
I know. I literally have clients who've said that, like, I'm going to be your best client. Right. Which I love. But yeah, it's okay. We don't need to overachieve at therapy.
Christine, please, you won't do this because you're probably way too nice compared to me. You won't. But if you do, with one of the clients that you're really good with, you'll say, hey, well, you know what? I'm glad you think that maybe you'll be my best client. And as of so far, you're one of the tops. Actually, you're probably my second favorite client. And this is what you go. Yeah, who's the first? They'll ask because they all ask. And you'll say, if I'm being honest, the rest are tied for first, which means that they're last. My 8th grade science teacher told me that. I was like ecstatic, like, yeah, I'm second. And then he's like, you're a piece of shit. And I'm like, I'm just going to jam this beaker into my face.
Well, never liked science again after that.
So like, there are people who can get away with saying that kind of thing, and I am not sure that I fall in that category.
Yeah, no, you're not in that category. No, I am in that category.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely part of that category.
Yes, my father was in that category. That is not my zone.
Not your vibe. Because they'd probably take you serious because you'd be like,
exactly.
They'd be like, how dare you?
Like, why?
I know.
Christine,
I tried to share something like funny on my Instagram yesterday. I was like, I think they're going to take me seriously. I don't think they're going to laugh. I think I have to take this down.
Never be funny again. You're like, no.
I wonder what the funny thing was. It was probably
it wasn't even that bad. I was just like, I think somebody could take this literally, and that would be a problem.
Oh,
yeah.
It
happens. Like on this podcast, how we talk about like murder all the time, and I'm like,
yeah,
we don't do that. Or how one of the therapists is like, oh yeah, I give my baby shots all the time.
No, you're like, oh no.
They give them juice like in the shot glass, but I was like, I was like, she's like, it's cultural, and I'm like,
sure it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't know me, you just know my social media. If I'm posting something funny, I think I'm like, I don't think they're gonna get it from me.
Yep. No. So you won't do that, but now this will get stuck in your head. So the next time they're like, I'll be your favorite client. Part of me hopes like you get a little bit of autism and you like just stutter something out. Second.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's about to happen.
The Tourette's just kick in after this podcast. She's just gonna start saying Bobby and Seven.
Different spectrums.
It's contagious.
All right.
Make sure you don't get the flu shot. That's a joke. Flu shot.
All right. So next scene. So for this scene, right? This is the last episode. Carmie, he sees what he thinks is his old boss, right? His old chef that used to just bully him relentlessly. Like, why are you even alive? Like, geez, dude, it's a restaurant. Calm down a little bit, but whatever. And I'm 90% sure that there are chefs out there that do that stuff. Oh yeah. Not
There's
even
bosses
funny.
like that everywhere, bro.
That also, yes.
That is also true.
Yes. Yep. And so then Carmie starts kind of having an episode, starts kind of freaking out. And then he goes into the freezer, and where they try to let him out and the handle breaks, right? Also, kind of a little bit of backstory too, is that Carmie has his work life his work life is not great right now, right? Because he met a girl named Claire, and he's been trying to have his time with her, but then also with the restaurant. But he's been neglecting some duties that he is supposed to be getting done for the restaurant. And one of them was actually calling the fridge guy, right? And so technically you could fault him for, what happened to him. And And then so he gets stuck in the freezer, and we see him freaking out. Like I said, having episode now, he's thinking about everything in his head and just pounding on the door, asking people like, what's going on? I need to be part of what's going on right now. But then we see Richie and the whole crew coming together as a team to get the service done, right? And it's a great moment for the whole team, because they have 5 minutes to really get all this done, and they're working like a well-oiled machine, which Carmie really had his hand in, right? Like he helped them get to this level where they could actually all do this. Yep, they all have their own stations. They're all executing amazingly. I see a lot of what's happening with Carmie and his mom. And for those of you who don't know, Carmie's mom, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. Like, I want to say she's like bipolar. I don't know. I do not know. But there was an episode where they go back and they take a look at her making Christmas dinner, and she has her hand in everything. She's making everything. And it just seems like she acts like everyone doesn't care about her, or that she's not wanted or needed. And I think that really plays a part in this scene, because I think he feels like he's not being heard, like he's not getting anything done, obviously. But obviously they're killing service, so they're doing amazing things because of him, but he just can't take that credit for himself. He really feels like he's not doing anything, or he's not being heard. And that's why I kind of feel that connection with him and his mom. And even while he's before he got stuck in the freezer, you hear this beeping in the background. And in the past episode, you hear the oven timer going off over and over again. And it's kind of like maddening a little bit, right? And so maybe he's kind of feeling that pressure and all of that to perform, and then all of this happens. So I kind of want to get your takes on the scene and what you kind of thought of it. Christine, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So, there is a lot here. There's a lot with his mom. There's a lot with his family. We could talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I think that what I see from my perspective is Carmie is kind of a classic overachiever, right? And to me, he's working so hard, and he became such a great chef because his brother wouldn't let him into the family business, and because his mom was so unpredictable and volatile. And I would imagine as a child, he was trying to avoid that, just like they all are. They're all trying to like fix what they can and do what they can. And they become these like hyper attentive, over attentive children to try to avoid, because you all need your mom's love. It doesn't matter how mentally, how much she struggles mentally, you still need her love. And so you're trying biologically to do whatever you can to get that approval. And so you see it in different ways with different kids, but Carmie just is always overachieving, and he gets a lot of success commercially, so to speak, but at a cost, right? Because he's always looking for the external approval. You're not seeing him do it as much for his own satisfaction. He's always trying to get somebody else's approval, whether it was that boss who abused him, and whether it was his mother who never showed up, whether it was, whatever. It's always somebody else's approval that he's looking for. And it's impossible to ever meet that need. And so then he's got this trauma that's feeding that desire to overachieve. And so even though we as the audience can see how well he's done his job, right? That they can work without him, that they can get this done without him. He's in the freezer, having a trauma response because he can't look at it and be satisfied and be like, man, I did awesome. They're still doing it, right? He's just panicked that something else is going to go wrong, because that's how his nervous system has been trained to believe, that something's going to go wrong if he's not involved and doing it perfectly. That's a really hard place to be.
Yep.
Easier.
both of you articulated everything perfect. You see him. No, wait a minute. You're right. Both of you are right. He got everyone into these positions and built all of them up, which I'm like, how the hell did he even do this? So he's had such wonderful mentorship and love from other places that he was able to give it.
Yeah.
So he wasn't neglected, full of, like, he did get the love from other places. Maybe not mom, but maybe it was mom. Mom could be bipolar, could have some personality disorders, could have ADHD, could have a ton of trauma herself. It's chaotic, very chaotic, and that plays a lot, like you said, into all of his stuff. But if I focus more on the fridge, because you said everything else perfectly, I wanted this scene because you got everything going good, you got the store going, and then you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then it drops. Now you're locked in the freezer. And you're trying to manage all of these different things, and you're trying to take some self-care and do what you're supposed to do to finally be fucking happy for the first time probably ever. And you sabotage that too, and then you finally go on the dates, and it's good with his girlfriend. And then some things fall through the cracks. You don't fix the fridge. Now you're locked in the fridge and panic. Because here it goes. Just like I knew it would go. I will fuck up. Everything will be ruined. And you don't really have faith in all the people that you've trained to get to where they need to be. And you're down a couple hands, so you need more hands on the floor. So it's not that you just didn't have faith. You also, literally needed to be working because they need more hands.
Yeah, because one of the workers was smoking crack in an alley.
Yep.
Just like, all right, that's a curveball there, but all right, cool.
Well, I got other people giving forks, and right, it's just is intense.
That's true. Yep.
Then his mom's supposed to come, and then flakes. I wanted this scene because it is the perfect response of someone that is in a full-blown panic attack, but let's get away from that is neurodivergent and completely deregulated. Because he's like freaking out, saying things almost like he's stuttering or have Rett syndrome. Everything's involuntary. He's like shaking in there, fuck, and he's twitching. He's like, it's over. I did it. I fucked up. I did it again. I did it again. Bangs on the door a couple times. I did it again. And he's rocking, and he's like fully in it. He is fully in a legitimate trauma response. Not some of these other ones that you're like, oh, I'm triggered. This is like 100% PTSD reaction. And he's gone. He is completely dissociated in a different place in his mind. First time I saw it, I cried watching him, because to watch someone in that state is intense. You rarely see clients in that state in your office. I'm talking more about seeing other people that I know in that state, other folks that are neurodivergent, completely deregulated, family members, myself. That is not a fun state to be in. Folks should be cautious, because when folks on the spectrum are in that state, doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, you could be seen as violent or psychotic. You could be, arrested. You could be killed. So when in that state, you just got to kind of back away. Me and Spence did a podcast on Mo.
Yep.
When the brother was on the spectrum, and then, hey man, you messed up, and I was just trying to help, and then he's full on wigs out. Same thing. Same thing I thought about was when Mo's brother freaks out. It's a dangerous time when someone's deregulated like that. So you got to kind of let it play out. Help the person get soothed if you can. Bring them calming things or whatever grounding thing that is around, right? Because you're going to have to know what it is. If it's your kid, if it's your roommate, if it's your partner, you'll have to know what it is that grounds them. And then make sure that they have that, and just kind of wait it out. Patience. Rarely will you ever get locked in a freezer like that, but sometimes our mind is that freezer, and then that's where we blow up. So now everyone else, all the neurotypicals will have the same versions of panic attacks if they're highly anxious. The way he was visualizing everything and all the terrors of his life, I mean, that is one of the worst places to be, like, ever.
Yeah. Is
visualizing every horrific thing that's ever happened. I mean, you're going to want to die. And that's what panic attacks make you feel like you're having. Is like feels like you're dying. Good thing is you're just going to pass out, and then you'll be fine. Hopefully you don't lose your bowels, because that could happen if you pass out. which is interesting because I have a lot of students, clients, that they'll have like one panic attack and then they'll have PTSD about because they're freaked out about having another panic attack.
Having a panic attack. Mm-hmm.
And then, if you pass out, you could wet yourself, you could defecate, whatever. I mean, it's terrifying. It's embarrassing. So right now, as everyone comes back to school, everyone's having these, not everyone that has generalized anxiety disorder, social phobias, they're having very panicky feelings. They're having panic attacks on planes, environments, the cafeteria, very overstimulating, the gym. And then they come to my office like, I'm just scared it's going to happen again. I'm going to just drop out of school. I said, don't do it. Give it 2 weeks. You're going to be okay. 2 weeks, and you'll be more regulated. And then you'll be okay to make it to the next month. And then second semester, sophomore year, you're going to be good. How do you know? Because I've seen this shit a million times. Perfect scene, literal scene for someone that is neurodivergent and having a meltdown. Now, I'm also saying this for folks, don't be like scared. Don't be scared. Me and my dad were just talking about something. I'll probably put it on our Instagram. I guess there was an NFL quarterback, a young black guy that was like for the Lions, a couple other teams. His son is on the spectrum and now is like the club manager or they call it the managers. They're not like the manager, but like they get the equipment manager for the Dodgers, LA Dodgers. And he's like extremely intelligent. Everyone loves him, and they say he's like an awesome dude. They said when the players got traded, he had a full-on meltdown because he loved this guy and he doesn't understand people just leaving. And then he said he was depressed for weeks, deregulated. Now another player just got traded, and they said he was fine. Just got traded a few weeks ago. And he said, "Yeah, it's a business, bullshit." Right? And he's like already cynical now. But the reason I bring that up is because that dad. They told him the kid would never be able to drive. Failed his driver's test 1 million times. Now he's able to drive back and forth to work in LA to go to work, to the Dodger Stadium. They told the kid, or the dad took the kid to the police. And I already knew what my dad was going to say. Took him to the police. He said, "Hey, this is my son. I want you to know who the hell my son is. And if anyone reports him or says anything weird, right, I don't want you to shoot my goddamn son." Because there are many reports of folks being on a spectrum, being seen as dangerous, been shot at, been killed. There was a therapist that got killed a couple years ago that was trying to help their client regulate again, and they ended up killing the therapist. Wow. Shot and killed the therapist in a park. So it's scary to talk about these things, but I want to bring attention to it because, these deregulating moments, if people don't know what's going on, they will be fearful. Especially if you're a larger individual like me or if you're a person of color. Your body will be deemed more dangerous. For those of you that are neurodivergent listening, this might be confusing. They don't really understand some of these racial things or gendered things, but it's a thing. For those of you that are therapists, I'm not saying it's your job, but you should also do some case management and help the family or others, loved ones, understand these circumstances. Literally the other day, someone, and then I'm done on the scene. There was an accident. I saw this car get hit by a semi 2 weeks ago. And then I got in my car, a couple other people got out of their car, right? And then we were talking and everyone ended up being fine. But I was talking and the guy's like, "Hey man, I think we're your neighbors." Long story short, I talked about Salim. I said, "Hey, have you ever seen him around town? You say a good guy, right? If he's spitting and sputtering or dancing or whatever, listening to his music, or sometimes he'll just be staring at you. He's cool. Right? He's on the spectrum, don't do nothing." Because people will be like, "Hey, who are you? You're lost? What are you doing over here?" They did that when we went to Colin's house. The next door neighbor like, "Who are you?" So he was like, Salim? I don't know how to answer this. This is a trick question. People will call the police on folks on the spectrum. It's a thing. So I wanted to make that point to protect folks because my father told me the story about the Dodgers kid and then his father protecting his son. And then also that massive meltdown, which was one of the most intense meltdowns I've ever seen on screen. I mean, when he just kept banging and screaming, "Fuck!" I mean, I couldn't breathe. Literally couldn't breathe. So we watched it again. Again, I felt myself not being able to breathe, which is an anxiety response. So, wonderful scene. The other part I think Christine wanted to get to, which I'll have you kick it off. So Spencer, I'm going to take the question from you because I don't want to forget. is Rich. You wanted us to also see this because you love the part with Rich in this scene, his evolution. Talk about his evolution in this scene.
Yes. I think this is kind of the culmination sort of his arc that we were talking about earlier, but I love the details and the nuances that you see in him here because Sydney's having her anxiety moment. She's freaking out. Carmie's in the freezer and he's having his moment. He's freaking out. At least he's contained, but he's still, he's not participating.
No.
Right. And Sydney's like, you can see the freeze, right? She's trying not to freeze. She's trying to think, but you can see her in freeze mode. And she asks for Tina to help. And Tina's like, I got two things I'm doing. Like, I can't be everywhere. And she's like, you're right. And she's still frozen. And then we see Richie step up, which is interesting because in season 1, his stepping up involves like pulling out a gun and waving it around and making everything worse. Right. Yeah. In season 2, here he is, he's grounded. Right. And he's like, you can tell he's scared. You can see it, but he's like, I can do it. And she looks at him and you can tell that she doubts. And she's like, you can see the wheels spinning. And she's like, and he's like, okay. And they're like, okay. And they have this like nonverbal exchange that you can see. And then he takes off his coat. And then this is also another, like one of those little details I love. He decides to turn the desk around. So now not only is he not doing it Carmie's way, he's confident in doing it his way. Right. So he's like, not only can I do it, but I'm going to make it better and I'm going to make it work better my way. And he's confident enough to do that. And I love that. And then he just steps up. And then you see he's got this moment of doubt, right? Like where he freezes. And then you hear this like buzzing almost that's in his head. Like that's where I get my anxiety response. I'm like, oh, I know what that feels like. Like I know what he's going through. And then she looks at him and she's like, drive. Right. And it's just that moment of like her belief, going back to belief in him. She's like, you got this, so to speak. And then he does. And he does it. And he does it great. And he clicks in and he starts doing it. He moves through that anxiety. He moves through that self-doubt and he does it. And then he gets to have the confidence afterwards because he did it. And he knows he did it. Mm-hmm. Right. So, yes. I love this moment because it's so human. He volunteers and then he panics that he volunteers. Mm-hmm. And then he makes it through, right?
Pushes through.
He has intelligence now. He has wisdom now. Wisdom. He has emotional regulation skills now. He has belief and confidence now. He has the love and respect of his colleagues and peers now. Mm-hmm. So he rolls up his sleeves. He's like, oh, I can do the grunt work. He does his thing. He pushes everyone within that 5 minutes, but he also is being empathetic and kind and gassing people up in a good way and empowering them and affirming them and validating them. And he's not bullying them like that other white guy that was Carmie's boss, right, Spence? He wasn't emotionally abusing and manipulating, right? And he's like, come on, we got this. We got 2 minutes left and we're doing good. We're done. God bless us all. We did it.
Yep.
And I see this a lot when we're talking about neurodivergent with people with ADHD, right? Is you put them in a crisis and they lock in, right? Their brain seems to know what to do in a crisis. And you see that in him.
Yeah. Totally.
It's an ADHD thing. And also I would say it's people that have been through chaos and trauma. Mm-hmm. So if you grow up in a lot of chaos, I've answered this legit. It was in an interview. This interview was before I got this job. So I think this was like St. John's out like on the East Coast somewhere. It was St. John's. Mm-hmm. So how are you good in crisis? I'm like, mental health crises with students and nothing. They're like, what? I grew up in crisis. I grew up with people yelling and screaming and homicidality, violence, right? And then the student talking about this or that. It's easy. I already know all the solutions and resources. I've got everything that I need and tools to disarm any of the things that they say in the room. And they're like, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, yeah, try growing up poor and brown in America. Like, you're going to have some skills. And so it's chaos. So some of it is ADHD folks, all that stimuli, they're like, ooh, satiating. It's just like why everyone who's ADHD, not everyone, but a lot of folks who procrastinate until the end because the ADHD, that extra stimuli is like, ooh, it's time to go, and they're like, and
then they can focus. Definitely, yes,
locked in. Yeah. Where my ADHD, like I like to procrastinate as well, but I'm not intelligent enough to do what other folks do. So like, I got to get my shit done ahead of time, because you got to write a 10-page paper. I can't, like, I have friends that are so gifted that they can do it in a couple hours. It takes me 2 hours to write a page. Different skills, different skill sets. Still highly intelligent people, different skill sets. And then you have the folks that grew up in chaos, like Carmie, that's probably, you would think that he would be good in those situations. Because like Spencer was saying, he was trained in those situations, but it deregulates him.
Right. But Richie seemed to get calmer in that moment. Right?
Yeah. So different people, different strokes. For me, I can get real calm in it because I know that you have to walk on eggshells and you have to regulate yourself. For the people that have more trauma responses or personality disorders, you have to get calmer. Because if you go up a level, then they're going to go up a level, and then it just keeps going and going. So you got to go down. And saying that, I'm very privileged to be very large and scary. So I can go down with still maintaining my respect and still maintaining my masculinity and my intensity. For other folks, different genders, smaller sizes, if you get quieter, it may be seen as weakness, but I never will come off weak. So my words at any given time can be seen as intelligent and impactful and direct. Talked about it yesterday with students. This is why I can be funnier than you, because I have that personality and I also have the privilege to ebb and flow within it. I also have the dialect that, the swearing and some of the slang and all that. So I can ebb and flow into certain things that other therapists that more embody you wouldn't have the ability to do. But if they practice it, they could, but it depends. One of the therapists we work with, what's the girl's name? The punk rocker looking one? I say that with love.
The punk rocker looking
Lacey.
one. Lacey.
I could see her getting away with some of that stuff, right? She's got the vice. She's got the tattoos. She's got the
That's
weird
right.
stuff, right? By weird stuff, I say with love. The murder dolls.
Yeah, weird with love. All right.
Yeah. Just FYI, I showed some of the puppets and dolls to some of my coworkers that are therapists, and they're like, "So," they're like, "For one, who makes those things? And then why did your homegirl buy them?" I can't wait to tease Lacey about this.
It's gonna be great.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I'm like, I love you, girl. Also, I am terrified, and I will never be alone with you in a room.
Yeah. No. No. Don't do that.
Okay. Spence, any other questions or seasoning we need to put on this scene?
I would just say that I think that Richie is a product of his environment, and
but
yeah, and I think a lot of people do that, and they obviously do that to survive, right? I think he did. That's all he kind of knew, but then once he got a taste of like excellence, he wanted to be excellent. So there you go. I think
before we move on,
yeah.
A lot of us are a product of our environment, but you have no idea on how many of us could be so magnificent in some of these awesome fields. Like, you thinking about precision, careful hands, you thinking about some of these barbers that are black and brown that are working on folks, they could easily be surgeons in a different context, in a different realm, and how perfect and good their hands, steady they need to be, could easily be working in the medical field doing something.
Yeah.
People that are drawing and creative, right, could easily be architects. And designing some of the fabulous things. But since we grow up in different places with different barriers to access and not the most equitable, it changes our viewpoints. I don't want to steal something for the next show, but Jack in the movie says, "What do you want to be when you get older?" And he's doing the math and he goes, "Alive." I think a lot of us grow up, we just want to be alive. A lot of neurodivergent folks, they just want to like be happy and be alive because there's so much sadness, persecution, neglect. We just want to be happy, but we don't even know what that is. So Rich doesn't even know what it is, and then he gets a taste of it, and he'll never go back.
Yeah. And I think we've all kind of had that moment,
Yep.
I mean, you've gotten to go to like Europe and things like that. You've gotten to travel
everywhere
and, get a taste of how different it is and how you can just how you want to improve your life. So maybe you could go back to that place or take things from where you go and bring them to where you are. that's what I think. That's what I think is a great thing, and that's what he's doing. He's bringing that excellence to a neighborhood. That
Hey, this is your co-host Spencer, and I'm bringing you a special message from our collaborator, Silver Dollar Candles. They have great scents to go with great messages, just like Best Dad Ever, True Crime and Chill, and my personal favorite, When This Candle Is Lit, Give Me That. You can also make your own candle and message that fits you. So go use our link in our link tree to get your order placed with Silver Dollar Candles today.
wasn't seen as that, right?
Correct.
So
For that neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's bigger story. Bigger story.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome for the neighborhood, for his
Yeah.
people, his culture.
Yeah.
I'm also just, I'm just focused on his little girl. I'm focused on how happy
That
they're
too.
going to be together and how he can look at her.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And hold his head up.
Hold his head up.
Mhm.
Right? He can be proud of himself, right? And then he can buy her some stuff. Ain't got to worry about bills no more. Can maybe
Mhm.
pay the mom a little bit more money, right? I mean, life will give. He cleaned his whole apartment, for God's sake, right? I mean, it's amazing what you can do when you actually focus on the stuff that you need to focus on and control the things that you need to control instead of all the other bullshit. And then it's amazing what can happen when you stop using substances to cope.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Alcohol,
yeah.
drugs, and nicotine.
Yeah.
When you
Yep.
glimpse yourself in a different light, and you can start to become that version of yourself. It was there all along. He had
Oh,
it
yeah.
all along, right? He just had to see it.
So I
Yeah.
said in the meditation yesterday, I said, our people are strong, resilient, powerful. We've handled so much shit. Everything you've ever needed is already in you, and you can just hear the kids crying. Everything you've already wanted is already in you. You just got to believe in it.
Yep. That's
Yep.
it.
What is it? That song called "The Light" by, oh damn, I just missed it. It's called "The Light" by Juice WRLD. By far one of my favorite. I've already brought it up a few times, but that song, if you actually listen to it, is just so good. It's talking about the devil thinking that they own you, and then the light is his partner in that time. But I could also see people as it could be their friend, their newborn child, right? It's this light that comes in, and forever is a long, long time to be in the darkness. It's just a wonderful song, and like it comes out what 3-4 years after he died. All right. Shout out to Juice WRLD.
Yes.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. All right. So, last scene that we're doing for today. So throughout the season, like I said, they're doing renovations on the restaurant, and for this last kind of test, they have to pass this this gas kind of test, right? And if they don't pass it, then they have to shut down the restaurant, and it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over at that point. And so in this scene, the gas man comes into the restaurant, and then he starts doing the test, right? And he counts down from 10, and then from 10 you can kind of see all of their faces, all the people's faces, and what they're kind of thinking at that time, like, okay, then now is another failed business, and I have to go back to doing something else that I don't want to do, that I'm not passionate about. And you kind of see everyone has their own thing that they're kind of going through their heads. And I love the fact that in this scene, the 10 seconds gets like slower and slower, just to kind of build up that tension.
Yep.
And really show like kind of like that stressful moment. Obviously they passed the test and the restaurant's open. But throughout that whole scene, it's always interesting to see what everybody's kind of thinking about and what's going through their minds. Now, I don't even know where to begin with this scene. I just wanted to do it because I felt like I love kind of getting that visual of, what everyone's kind of thinking. You don't really get that a lot, especially in like the pressure moments in shows, especially when it comes to like multiple characters. We usually focus on one and what's kind of going through their mind. But for this one, we see multiple people and what they're thinking and, how they want to be perceived as themselves. And like, okay, I'm this proud cook now. I can do whatever. And then obviously, at the end, we see all of them happy, elated, being like, yes, we passed the test. We can cook food in here now.
Yeah. All that damn mold. I got a question for Christine.
Go for it.
I got a serious question now.
Okay. He says it like that.
Get ready.
Serious question. Can you pass a gas test?
Me?
Wow. So one little tell he has, anytime he has his hand like this, and he's like, can I ask you something? Like he's about to do a wrestling move on you. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
It's gas.
It's gas. And
as soon as you said the gas test, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. I saw you smile. I was just like, I gotta get through this. I can't deal with your crap right now.
I was like, oh shit, that's me.
No, wait, I've been through there. Been the gas man myself.
This reminds me of home and all my boys. This is a conversation my boys would be having. Yes?
I thought you just meant
we
the
are
gas.
14-year-olds
the
at
gas
heart.
reminds you of home too, probably. All the boys. You're like, what the fuck did I just walk into?
No, they have to keep that away from me.
Yeah. It's like, how's it?
You better get in the next room.
I am the only female in this house, so they have to treat me that way.
Yes. She just walks into a room. She's like, how is it in the curtains?
Oh.
They put their ass on the curtains? What? Who puts their ass on a curtain?
You men are monsters.
In the oven? What? I try to hide it, Mom. I try to hide it. I
try to clean it. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No,
I was going to say, but I did it. I filtered myself because you're not my son.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn it, Bobby. Again?
Bobby. Oh, good old Bobby.
Oh my God, my face hurts.
Oh gosh.
I think a good way to get us finished for the day is maybe talk about, you see the visual and everyone and the panic and how everyone's going through that fear response. Maybe how do you work with clients in pressure or pressure responses, the anxiety about getting a new job, a new career? Because it's a lot of pressure. Interviews. Me and Spence have been doing interviews for like new jobs because we're both trying to go up in the world in administration. So talk about pressure maybe and how some of our demons can hold us back, and how do you work with people to get, past that and actually not white out or black out?
That's a great question. I think I'm going to tie it back to the scene first. I mean, there's a lot. That's big. There's a lot we could talk about there, right? About getting through an interview. But what I love about this scene and what I think is brilliant about this scene is they're raising the stakes, right? Everybody has a huge stake in this game. Everybody has a lot to lose if they don't pass this. They've all invested a lot in this. And what they're doing, they're getting through it. They're not blacking out. We're not seeing the meltdowns that we saw in the, in the freeze or whatever, because they're all there supporting each other. Right? They're all just there. It's almost like, I don't know if their shoulders are touching that, but I think they are. I think they're physically holding each other up, right? They're connected. They're all invested. They all care just as much. And so they're getting through it together, which I love. And that is one of the things that I will talk to my clients about when we're making a change is what kind of support do you need to make this happen? Because I don't think any of us get through this on our own. Right? I don't think any of us get through life completely isolated. Like we all need other people. We all need support. So, in an interview, you might not be able to take your friend in with you, but mock interviews, you can do that with a coach. You could do that with a counselor, but you can practice with friends, and you have friends who build you up, and you have, the types of friends that you need to be around to help you get ready for this, because you've got friends who are analytical, who are critical, who are whatever. They might not be the best at this stage of the game, right? When you are trying to step into something new, maybe the best kinds of support are your dreamers, are your hopers, are your believers, right? And that's who you're going to lean on at this stage. So, and we can talk about how we talk ourselves through and how we become our own friend and whatever, but really, I think we all need other people, because otherwise we get stuck. We get stuck inside our head. We get stuck with those voices, right? We need somebody who's going to give us some of their strength when we need it.
I like that. Be connected to maybe the people that are more optimistic and dreamers. I know I'm spilling some of the beans here, but the next pop we're getting ready to do Spencer's Jack, right? And there's a moment where Jack's sitting in the room and Bill Cosby says, "You're a star, kid." And a flying shooting star. And he's like, "I don't want to be that. I just want to be normal." And so in those moments, though, you need people to gas you up. I would agree. To give
There's
you
a beautiful, sorry.
No, you go.
I'll say there's a beautiful children's book called What to Do with an Idea, right? And it's kind of all about this. When you have an idea, there's certain things that will kill your idea. There's certain things that will kill your spirit. And there's certain things that will help and build it and help it grow. And that's what I like to think about. You know, your analytical, critical types can be valuable when the idea is fully formed and you just need somebody to help you refine it. So those people can be valuable, but you need to know who is for what stage.
What do you think kills people's dreams the most, or ideas, or spark? Let's go with the word spark.
I think there's a lot of things, but I think criticism at the wrong time is really difficult when it's just a fragile baby idea, and it can get stepped on really easily.
Get blown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get blown out. It happens a lot to folks that are neurodivergent. Their creativity gets blown out. Their want to dream and think outside the box and develop and create gets smothered. I feel like the K through 12 system does that as well. College does that as well. It smothers any type of creativity because you have to cram and do the things that they tell you to do, which is fine. But there should be other options. I can't even tell you what the hell I did in those ages, but it was the teachers that gave me the ability to create, or there's the ones that fed and gave me the spark. We definitely do not pay teachers enough. That's a different story. I just wanted to say that.
Agreed.
I like that. In those moments, you see all of them with all the big hopes and dreams. And man, if that was to fail, they would have been devastated. I mean, completely devastated. But thankfully, for the show's sake, they pass.
And you know what else I like, to tie it all the way back to the beginning, is that the mentor did fail. We don't always have that moment where it works out the first time. Totally. Sometimes we do fail, right? And sometimes the gas test doesn't pass and our idea doesn't come to fruition. And what I love is that she found another way. So they're also showing you that that doesn't mean that's the end.
Yeah. I also think and I also think that with Carmie's old boss, it was such a locked in, just boxed. It was such a boxed in way of thinking, like you do it my way or else, like that's it. And the thing about like Carmie and then also with Sydney is like they allowed people to be their creative selves and really open the box of what they can do. Instead of just kind of putting them in one box and being like, you do it my way and that's it. Right now, obviously they have to have standards and things like that to go along with, you know, their creativity, or else it's just kind of utter chaos everywhere else. You kind of have to have a little bit of a boundary, but at the same time, it's a whole big field that they can work with. And so I think that's how they were really made themselves accountable, but then also successful in the same way, because they allowed that creativity within a large field that they can actually play on. So
yes, which reminds me of Ted Lasso, where he let his team be more creative, right?
Be a goldfish.
Anyway, I love that. Yep. And we need to know what kind of people move us forward and what kind of support works for us.
Oh yeah.
It's how I lead supervision with interns. or people that I'm supervising just in general for their full licensure is they will feel safe with me because I'm not holding you to any law or any certain policy or God. Obviously, there's some foundations, but there's a lot of room for you to be you and develop your own style and technique. And I'm going to foster that because that's how I get you to buy in. I get you to buy into what we're doing by me allowing you to be you within certain constructs, but still you get to be you and create. When I was young in the game, my boss gave me the reins and she said, drive. And then, I ain't gonna lie, I fucked up quite a bit. And then she's just like, okay, now we're going to do a little bit of correction. We're going to figure this out. You're going to talk a little bit better this way, that way, this way. You're going to add your PowerPoints this way, that way. And it ends up working. You're going to work with clients with trauma a little bit different than what you're doing before because you're going a little bit too fast and then you slow down because you deregulate people. Okay. So, yeah, I would deregulate people. I got picked up in speed because I was trying to give an example of how I was pushing people too fast because I'm ready to do the work because I've already done the work and I have the emotional stability to do it. My clients, they don't go at your pace. They go at their pace. Took me a while to figure that out. Suspense, you said that. And then Christine said something. I was going to say it. And then you stole it right from under me. Bastard.
Sorry.
What did you say? You said it was right before this part that Spence talked. What were you just pitching?
I don't know.
It's fine.
I don't remember what I said.
I can't remember.
I talked about a children's book. I talked about what else did we talk about?
It was literally just before that, and you said, "Hey, let me," and then you went, and then I was literally going to second that.
I know.
Because
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, I'm glad
Happens on
that
the
you
show
said it all the time. I'll just be like,
all the time.
Fritos, what?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, and me too. And I did pretty good not interrupting through most of this, but then I did it at the end.
Oh no, that's fine. That wasn't even an interruption. That was me allowing you to go because people need to hear you. I'm getting better at making sure that our guests get heard.
Yeah.
Because that's why we're doing these podcasts. They're going to hear us on Mondays. They don't need to hear more of us on fucking Thursdays.
Yeah, it's true. We talk enough ourselves.
Yeah. We talked about dreamers, having people in your corner, having people that are creative. We talked about not burning or allowing the flame to keep growing and glowing. Life is interesting and fragile. You never know who's going to help you build that spark.
Mm-hmm.
And then pressure, because you want a certain happiness. You're going to have that no matter what. Oop, there it is. I knew I'd find it. It's failure. Spencer knows right. if I talk enough, I'll find it. And if I wouldn't have brought it up that I forgot, I would have just started talking shit, and then eventually I would have found it, and you'd be like, "Oh, look how smart he is."
Oh wow!
And Spencer would be like, "Nope, he's just vamping."
Yeah, he's just blowing through everything, just being like
failure. We're seeing one success story of this restaurant and all these individuals, but that one success story, and I don't mean this to make anyone feel like crappy or to make anyone feel like, what's the point? But this is like one success out of probably like 100 other people's failures in that area. Right. We talk about successes in therapy. We get like a couple major successes with folks. And then there's a lot of other quote unquote failures. Let's say not failures, but they didn't get to where they wanted to with the time that we had. They still made progress. They still met a lot of goals, but it wasn't like the full thing. Whatever the hell the full thing is. You don't win at everything. You don't win with every client. You don't win with every goal that you have, right? It's just, as my nephew told me, who's a lawyer now, shout out to Dimitri for never giving up, for getting in trouble at Oklahoma State, getting expelled, kind of like I did as well, and then going to community college, couch surfing his entire college career, going to Michigan State, getting 2 degrees and acing them, going to Louisville for law school, and then going to Georgetown, one of the best universities in the nation for law. Shout out to Meech. But never giving up. Someone said it the other day. I don't know who said it. They said when one door closes, it's just, it's a student. And I'm not going to say this correctly. He said there's a quote. Goes to the baño at school, and there's these quotes on the wall. And one says, like one door closes, that's just another door opening, or something like that. He said, "Don't worry about it." I love that a student tried to educate me on something yesterday. I was so emotionally drained. I was completely checked out by the time I was talking to him. I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? Why are you here?"
I don't know you.
I don't know you. I do know the kid.
Oh, well.
But it's true. A failure is just a setup for something else.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep going and keep going and keep going until you're like, okay, this is futile. Let me change my trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes failure is about recognizing when something is not going to work and changing. And sometimes failure is just a step on the path to success because we have to learn something. And the trick is deciding which one it is, but
Yep.
it doesn't have to stop us in our tracks.
Nope, it doesn't. Spence, you got any seasoning sauce we're putting on this or before we get out of here?
Nope. I think we're good here. Let's wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Christine, you got any things that you want to tell the folks as we wrap up here?
As far, I think I think we wrapped it up really nice.
Yeah. Don't choke.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm really thankful for this opportunity. It was a lot of fun. I love this show. I think if you like characters, I think if you want like psychology, this is a fantastic show to watch. It was really fun talking to you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. And if somebody would like to have you as their coach, therapist, how can they get a hold of you? Where at?
Yeah. So my website is just christinewalkercoaching.com. You can click on there and sign up for a free consultation. It's pretty easy. We can talk about what you're looking for, how I might be able to help, and see if it's going to be a good fit. So, yep.
And then it's Christine Walker Coaching for your Instagram, correct?
Yep. That's
awesome.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And like we said before in the beginning, we will be linking all of your socials and website on the video and all the pages. So
yep.
Awesome.
Everywhere.
Thank you.
LinkedIn,
everywhere.
YouTube.
Yeah, everywhere.
Like 10 different podcast things, and then every post that will go out. So everyone will be able to see your stuff. I'll post one thing as long as you give permission to your wall, which will be the therapized thing that we do. And then I usually ask permission to post 1 or 2 reels because I'm going to let go of like 10 to 15 reels. I'm going to tag you in some that'll go on your tag page, but I'm only going to ask you to post 1 or 2 on your actual page.
Okay.
So that's the vibe. Spence knows that we do this now. We're going to gas you up here. Super excited for folks to meet you and to listen to you.
Yes.
To hear you, to see how your mind works, to meet the person, the mom, the educator, the coach, the therapist, the human. I think people will be really excited to work with you. I'm really happy that we got to talk to you. Much love and appreciation for coming on today.
Thank you. Likewise. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And we will definitely be having you back again.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
She gets off here. She's like, what the fuck was that?
No, it's fun. It was
Why
fun.
did I smell gas?
That's what we like to call a callback. And with that, check out all of our lovely collaborators. Go check them out on our link tree. You can get a discount up to 20% off some of their collaborators. So go check them out. And then also go check out our merch. Great stuff. We got hats, we got sweaters, even though it's hot as hell, and we got all the stuff. So go check it out. And with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is the Different Spectrums podcast.
All right, peeps. Much love. And remember, take care of yourself.
Or don't.
That's completely up to you. All right, folks. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.